Hey Geeks and Gamers! Today I'm here to talk about the Atari VCS again. This is my third time talking about it. If you didn't know, last year I did a video titled 1 Year with the Atari VCS, where I kind of went over my experiences after owning it for a year, some of my issues, some of the games I've experienced, so on and so forth. And then earlier this year, I did another follow-up video where I talked about like my current thoughts on it and some of the games I was playing, and kind of did a little follow-up. This is going to be another follow-up that I'm calling 2 years with the Atari VCS. Realistically, it won't be 2 years until December, but this is the last time I'll be talking VCS on my channel this year. So I thought it would be appropriate if I just called it 2 years with the Atari VCS, gave you my thoughts. Today I'm actually going to do three things. I'm going to, for one, give you my updated thoughts. Where am I at now with the console? I'm going to talk about some of the games I've been enjoying on the console. And lastly, I am going to talk about things I think they should do to improve the Atari VCS. I do have it. We're actually, this is a weird, usually we're facing the other way towards my shelves and stuff. We're actually facing the TV setup in my office today. Sorry about the weird backdrop with the curtain and stuff. This is not usually meant to be seen on camera. But I wanted to have the VCS in the background. And I have it set up here. I actually have my 7800 and my Sears Telegames here too. The whole family of my Atari consoles with my VCS in the middle. And I got my modern controller and my classic joystick here. So, I can actually, scroll through and change tabs and, highlight some games, and you can see what's in my library as I talk. So I guess the first thing I should do is talk about maybe some of the games I've been enjoying on the Atari VCS. Now, I don't own every game on the VCS yet. That is actually a goal of mine, because the library is small. It's like roughly 175 games right now. So I do need to get some more storage, because I have a flash drive plugged into the back and it is getting full. But I do want to eventually just have all the games on the storefront. That way, when this console PC hybrid thing does eventually become obsolete, I will have all of the games available and some capacity. So we should talk about some of the games I've been playing. The first one I want to talk about is Lunarlander Beyond. Now, Lunarlander Beyond was a game I was very excited for this year. It came to other consoles, of course. All these games are basically on other consoles, with a few exceptions of maybe some indie games. But all the main Atari games are on other consoles or PC. Lunarlander Beyond is a sequel to Lunarlander, the original arcade game, that was all about landing ships properly. And it's a very tough arcade game if you've ever played that classic arcade game. Beyond had a super difficult task. It has to take the simple premise of landing ships in an arcade setting and transform it into a full-fledged game. And god damn it, they did it. Lunarlander Beyond, I forgot the name of the developer. I know they did another indie game. I'll put their name up on the screen. They actually took the main concept of Lunarlander, the concept of piloting ships, and ran with it. This is not a spaceship shooter. You don't shoot anything in this game. You don't have guns in this game. The game is all about piloting. You play as pilots for a company a thing called Pegasus. There's this big event where black holes have opened up all over the galaxy. You're trying to rescue people and do what you can in this tragic time. There's actually a pretty good amount of voice acting and narrative in the game. I really like that. That's a really cool approach. A lot of the newer Atari projects that I've seen, like the Recharge games, even like Haunted House and Quamp 2 and stuff that I've talked about, they have narrative sometimes, but never to this extent. There's a lot of like narrative and voice acting that is pretty enjoyable in the game. The fact that You get to recruit different pilots as you play and unlock different ships that all control differently is great. You get to have upgrades for your ships, that's fine. The missions really are piloting through hazardous environments, and trying not to touch walls and trying to complete objectives, usually rescuing people, hacking things. Sometimes you'll have to grab a shield to shield your ship and then hit oncoming asteroids and stuff because you don't have guns, you can't shoot them. So yeah, there's some interesting gameplay. One of the coolest parts of the gameplay to me is that there's a sanity system with your pilots. So you can, as you play, you get a chance to unlock more pilots. And if you're playing a mission, and the missions do get very difficult. If you're playing a mission and you accidentally bump into walls and take too much damage or whatever it is, you have a sanity bar at the bottom that will start going up. And if it goes up all the way, you will start seeing hallucinations, your character will go insane. There are pills you can take in the game to actually lower that bar if you need to, but they're not as easy to come by as you might think. So sometimes your pilot is going nuts, and you're going to have to try to finish the level with your pilot, seeing hallucinations and things coming on, at you on the screen. And sometimes they'll have a bomb on the screen, and they'll you'll think it looks like a health pickup because you're going in crazy, and then you accidentally run into the bomb thinking it's a health pickup or something. And very interesting. And between missions, you can actually retire some of your pilots to get medical help. So you can actually have someone see a psychiatrist, which will take a few, after a few missions, they'll be back and able to work for you again. I really like Lunarlander Beyond. I think it's a phenomenal game. Probably the best modern interpretation of an arcade game. Interpretation of an arcade game that Atari's done, a modern interpretation. That word's so weird. Lunarlander Beyond is highly recommended. If you're getting a VCS or if you have another console, it's on Xbox, Steam, PlayStation, Switch, Lunarlander Beyond is definitely worth your time. Now, I just want to note that I have not bought, where is it at? The newest game by Atari. This is the only game by Atari themselves I don't own, and that is Yars Rising. I haven't bought Yars Rising yet, mainly because I've heard some mixed things on it. I was excited for this title, but it doesn't look like a Yar game, really. Some of the apparently the hacking mini games are, but the main game is a Metroidvania thing, platformer, this anime girl and stuff, and there's some story. I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on it, to be honest. And I like Way Forward, and I love the Yar series. So this one I might actually just wait till it's on sale. We're getting towards the latter part of the year. I'm sure Black Friday sales will kick in eventually, and this will probably get marked down. So once this goes on sale, I'll probably pick it up. So if I do another VCS video, at the beginning of next year or something, you can expect me to talk about Yars Rising, but that's why I'm not talking about it today. So we can go back. So I talked about some other Atari games last time. I talked about Neo Sprint, Quamp 2 that they put out. So we'll talk about some of the arcade games. Even though, I'll tell you what, I have actually gone back and started playing Centipede Recharged again. I wanted to complete all of the missions and stuff in that game. And Centipede Recharged is so damn fun. That's such a fun game. See, I talked about Cosmic Panic. Oh, Circus Interstellar. That's a great indie game. Circus Interstellar is a combination of a horror game and Berserk. And you're on a spaceship full of evil clowns, and it's just a damn fun game. It's a top-down twin-stick game, very similar to the original Berserk, with the way it's set up. You want to clear enemies and get to the next room, and there's various levels to get through. It is co-op. I think it's up to 4 players. I could be wrong about that. I've only played a single player, but if you have a VCS, or I think it's also on Steam. Circus Interstellar should be one of your first purchases. It's phenomenal. The developers, I think their name's Ettensoft or something, they did a fantastic job with Circus Interstellar, and I would love to see more games from them come to the VCS. You know, and that's one of my favorite things about playing VCS is that where it does have a small library, a lot of the indie developers that I probably wouldn't have noticed on a platform like the Switch or Steam, they stand out more, and it gives me more of a reason to experience some of their games. I'm trying to see what else I've played. Harpy's Curse 7800 was a great homebrew game. I have enjoyed Haunted House. I tried Combinera, that's an Atari game, a puzzle game, and I haven't gotten very far in it yet. So I want to put some more time into that one. I'll talk about, where is it? Wild Dogs is by Second Boss, and it's like a Contra style run and gun game. It's so good. It's the visual style is stylized to look almost like a Game Boy game, but obviously not like the technical side of things, but just the visuals. And it's such a good run and gun game, and I love the fact that each level you play as, the main soldier guy, I forgot his name, but in various parts of the level, your dog, I think his name's Teddy, has to traverse a certain area or do something for you, and you get to control the dog, and it just changes the variety. Is totally, like there's so much variety there. It's cool. The levels are very hard. It's very Contra inspired, but I've really enjoyed that one. And there's a lot of other ones here. Ultra Mission's been a cool Berserk type game. Tile Cross is a really simple puzzle game. Thrustlander is really good. Also, oddly enough, like Lunarlander Beyond in the weird like gravity ship genre, but you can actually shoot on this one. The missions you just kind of float through levels and take out enemies and stuff. And yeah, I mean, you can see here there's a lot of Superstar Shooter 16 is a really good one. I've been playing some of. There's just a lot of cool games on the VCS, and there's a lot more that I haven't purchased. Here's all the streaming apps that I have installed. You can install streaming apps and use them all day. And of course, there's PC mode, which I don't have set up, but you can use it as a PC. So yeah, there's just a lot of stuff on the store that I haven't gotten to yet, that I'm going to eventually get to and try. Cash Cow. I did a review of Cash Cow if you want to watch that on my channel. I loved that game this year. Cash Cow was fantastic. There's just a lot of stuff on the store. So I'm going to eventually get to all of this and, try it out and whatnot. So my thoughts on the VCS haven't changed that much. I still think it's an enthusiast's console, like a hobbyist console or thing. It's not really a console because it's console / mini PC. But I have a lot of fun with this thing. I love the retro games. Retro games are mainly my style. Fast, pick up and play games. So this console appeals to me 100%. I understand why it wouldn't appeal to some people. But I think if you are interested in it, and maybe you're on the fence, wait for a sale and, pick up the VCS, give it a try. The second thing I wanted to talk about was... I've already forgotten. Okay, I talked about what I've been playing. Oh yeah, I was just talking about my current thoughts. That's basically it. I do think that the release schedule for the games it's a little shallow at times. And that's mainly because Atari puts out games on here, and whenever they don't, it's up to indie developers. I do think they do supplement that a lot with some pretty cool releases, like pretty cool like homebrew games and stuff that have gotten releases on here now that would have been on the 2600 or the 7800. It's been cool to see those where they purchased like Atari Age and stuff. So some of those games, like Crystal Quest, is a homebrew sequel to Crystal Castles, and they officially put that on the VCS to purchase. And I love these games because here's one I haven't bought: Space Duel. Space Duel 7800 is like $8, so you can buy that and You know, you have a good Homebrew 700 game to play. It looks like Asteroids, so I haven't bought that one yet. So yeah, that's cool. So I kind of want to talk about some of the aspects that I think could be improved with the VCS. Mainly the console library moving forward. I am happy that they still support this thing, and you know, they're still putting out their first-party games along with indie games and homebrews. And I kind of want to give some ideas to Atari. I doubt they're listening to me. I'm just a guy on the internet, right? But I wanted to give some ideas, some feedback that I think they could easily implement onto the VCS. The first one, I just kind of talked about it, is the homebrew scene. They've been doing a pretty good job with it, but I would like to see a lot more. There's a lot of homebrews that were purchasable on, say, Atari Age. I don't know what the licensing is for that, but I do know they own Atari Age now. I would love to see a lot more of the homebrews brought over to the VCS. I think that is something that is special, that a lot of other consoles don't offer, is homebrew retro games, you know, especially like Atari games like that. I think that's so cool, you know, and for someone like me, I love playing homebrew games, but, you know, actually purchasing them off of like Atari Age sometimes is pricey. I have a few. I should have got them out. I do have a few cartridges. I have Juno First and I can't think of the. Hold on, I actually want to grab them. Juno First and Oystron. I know, and I've talked about these before. These actually aren't available on the VCS yet, but I love supporting homebrew games and buying the cartridges like this. But a lot of the times these are pricey to manufacture and ship, and the fact that they can put them on the VCS and offer them for a cheaper price, but I still get to support, you know, Atari, and you know, I don't know what profit, you know, what percentage goes to the homebrew developers, but the fact that I get to, you know, contribute to that in a digital format, so cool. I love that. Another idea that I have is the fact that Atari has. Okay, so before this modern Atari was Atari, they were Infogrames. If you didn't know, Atari's been the company Atari has switched hands multiple times throughout the years. The Atari we know today is not the Atari we knew. You know, I say we knew. I wasn't born, but you know, that was around back in the 70s, 80s, so and so. They got the name Atari got passed around quite a few times through a few companies like Hasbro, Infogrames, and then finally it morphed back into Atari, and that's where we are today. With that, there were a lot of games that came out that they don't do anything with. And I don't know what the possibility is of them doing anything with them, but I imagine, you know, they're doing pretty well right now. And I imagine it's not impossible to get some of these games onto the VCS. And I kind of wanted to, I have a couple here that I just like as example. Here's Pong: The Next Level for the PS1. And this is a great game and I love. And there's really not, I mean, there's Quamp 2, but there's really not a lot of Pong love on the VCS, so Pong: The Next Level would be a fantastic one. But again, I think this was a Hasbro game. Yeah, it says here it was a Hasbro game, so I don't know the likelihood of them doing something like that, or you know, who owns the license to that game now. The other one that I would love to see, I love this game, is Centipede Infestation. And you know, they just did Yars Rising with Way Forward. This is a Way Forward game. That's right. Way Forward did an Atari game back in, was this 2011? Yeah, back in 2011. And this is a great twin stick style game, a great interpretation of, there's that word again, interpretation of Centipede. And this game I would absolutely love to come to VCS. But again, I believe, I don't know, it says Atari published it. I don't know, again, that was Infogrames, Atari. I think this is still Infogrames. So they might actually own the rights to this, I'm not sure. I would love to see these two games and a lot of the other ones they produced in the, you know, the PlayStation 1, you know, PS2, Wii era to come to VCS. I think it's a great opportunity. Obviously, some of the games like Alone in the Dark, and like the Dragon Ball games, those they probably don't own any rights to, so they probably couldn't do anything with those. But I would love to see some of the games based on their original IPs that they did in that time period come to the console. The other thing is, recently they've made a lot of purchases of other companies. They purchased Digital Clips, who made Atari 50. Where's my controller? Who made Atari 50. There it is. That I absolutely loved. I love Atari 50 so much. And they've been doing some other stuff. I talked about, earlier this year, I've talked about the Jeff Minter story game they did, and they also did the making of Karateka? Karateka. I think it's called Karateka. I haven't played that one yet. But I would love to see their more recent output brought to VCS. I think that with their retro style, like game preservation, like documentary things they've been doing, you know, that are like part game museum, part collection. I think that's so cool, and that's a great fit. I mean, I know the 50 collection is a great fit on the VCS, and I would love to see those also come. Obviously, they do other things for other licensed projects; those wouldn't work. But I would love to see the some of their newer stuff that they could put on the VCS come to VCS. They also bought Night Dive, who have done a lot of remasters of famous first-person shooter games like Turok, Doom. They did, what else did they do? They did Quake. They did the more recent Star Wars, what the hell it's called, Dark Forces. They've done Power Slave. They've done a lot of cool games, and that one I don't know how likely it would be for any of their titles to come to VCS. I know they also did a System Shock remake. I don't know. But Atari owns the company. I would love to see them work out something to put some of their games on VCS. And they also bought some other stuff. They bought some stuff from Stern. They bought Intellivision, and they actually did put one Intellivision game on the storefront. With, where is it at? I actually reviewed it recently too, with Dark Cavern. But I would love to see a lot of that's still a 2600 game. I would love to see a lot of actual Intellivision stuff come to VCS. I think not only would that be amazing, but it would also be a great kick in the balls for fucking Tommy Tallarico and the failed Amico project. That's so funny that they own all that stuff now. They don't own Amico, but they own Intellivision, and that's hilarious. Yeah. I like the VCS, and I still play mine a lot. Of course, I am a huge Atari fan. There's a lot of cool indie games, Atari retro games, homebrew games, streaming services. There's GeForce Now. There's a lot of stuff on the VCS to play and do. If you got a VCS and you took advantage of the PC mode and played games on there, you could emulate, play Steam games, play PC games up to a point whatever the console could handle. And then you also used the system OS and played the games that are available on the store, along with the streaming services like GeForce Now, Amazon Luna, Xbox, Cloud Gaming, Antstream Arcade. There's a lot to play on the VCS. So there's actually quite a bit to offer, I think. So I still really like it. 2 years in, I'm still really happy with the VCS. I am happy they're still supporting it, and I can't wait to see what they do in the future. I hope this console lasts a little bit longer. I have a gut feeling that it won't, but I hope it does. So let me know what your experiences are with the VCS so far, and let me know if you're interested in one, if you have one. Here is my friend code thing, my friend name on the VCS. If you have one and you want to add me, you can. And maybe we can shoot some shit, do some high score competitions. If you want to challenge me in Quantum, where's Quantum at? I'm looking at the screen. There it is. In Quantum Recharge. Actually, I'm curious. This is gonna be loud. At one point, I was the at the top of the leaderboard or close to it. I think I might have been number 2. I'm curious to see how far up I am. Let's see. Leaderboard. Oh, I'm 5. I'm number 5 on the leaderboard. I need to work on that some more. If you want to challenge me and some Quantum Recharged, I will take you on.